Welcome back to your workshop, mate. Oh, yeah, thanks, Dave. That was really good of you. Hang on, what have you been doing while... Oh, no, I'm talking to myself. Oh, well, it had to happen. Yeah. Right, what I've done is reorientated the pipework somewhat. Instead of having the Y junction there that would see me having the pipe running out into the other storage area, I've taken the Y out and put two 45s in to redirect it to this end so that my chip collector, dust extractor at the moment can hook in there. The theory being is I may well put that dust collector or the new one out in the shed, out there. Now, I just had a wee bit of a thought, but as I'm standing here, I think, yeah, nah, probably not. But I thought that instead of a door, I make that like it will be. I make that like a cartridge, the whole affair, where I can slide it into that alcove and then pull it out to be able to extract and clear out the bag that will have to be cleared out on a fairly regular basis if I'm using it for chip collection. If it's not collecting chip, from the planar thickness of that was, but otherwise it's going to last quite a while in there without having to be pulled out. I think it better to have something indoors here rather than having to traipse around outside and all the rest, even if it was just to check how full the bag is. The new ones, which I'm not a great fan of, but it is, are plastic, so I'll be able to have a visual, look to see just by poking my head in the door, which of course will have to open outwards as it does now. I like the idea of being able to slide it in and slide it out, and that would mean, as I was making comment in a previous video, having to remove the little concrete nib that runs around the perimeter of the garage. Good idea, not necessary in this scenario, and there's no downside for me as far as I'm concerned. Structurally, it's not. So, yeah, just being able to slide in and out. But, yeah, I'm just thinking now the depth of that storage area is more shallow than the depth of this. So that's a bit of a nuisance. Darn it. Shot myself in the foot. I came back with all enthusiasm and, yeah. But getting the pipework to be like it is now means, without the Y in there, means that back wall pipe can go up against the wall similar to the side wall pipe. Excuse the cough. That means that I regain quite a bit of real estate on the bench if I want to mount the pipe, like I said before, in effectively a shelf unit. So that'll push back there. Yeah. So there's a lot going for it. Plus, there is some suggestion that at some stage I do poke the pipe through there and run it that way on the other side of the wall. So that has a lot of appeal to me. So I'm really saying not a lot. I've got the option there, actually. That's really what I'm saying. I've got the option to poke it through in the wall, and so I'll make up the cabinets or the shelves with that in mind so that it can be taken apart. That idea was to have an outlet at the height of the bench, roughly where it is now, just below the light switches, and one down the bottom near the floor, maybe 200, 300 millimeters off the floor, for the chip extractor itself. It'll be used when it gets used, but not, whatever. But the motor being in the other room, and these pipes approaching the Y bit like that's on this now, I should be able to hook up the motor and the ducting reasonably easily, and then junction off. And even if I have to have a short length of flexi pipe to come down the bottom bit and then solidly mount one of those pan adapter things in the wall, should be a good way of having quite a neat and functional duct system. Point is there, the one down the bottom, which would be for the planar thicknesser, which has the most demand on or put the most demand on the chip extraction, will be the shortest run of any pipe. And as I say, it will be just possibly a small bit of flexi and then straight into there. So it will be a very, very short piece. And then, of course, the piece of pipe out to the chipper collector itself, which is quite often sitting out here to permit a decent length of timber to be able to be run through it. So there's all that. And keeping it low means that when it's in its planing, there's a good point. Should I'll flip, because it's one of these ones where you have to flip the top open and flip a panel over that's got the inlet, the port at least, and I'll get an average height for that, and probably put the port in the wall at that same average height so that a pipe coming out can be made and hook into it. Or the other way of looking at it, keep it low so you can step over the thing, because as I'm getting a little bit stiffer in the leg lifting department, that might be wiser. And then just in. I'm going to spend some time on that, the planar thicknesser, because like so many planar thicknessers, and I don't know why they do it, the port comes right out where your timber is exiting. And considering this is it's a big puppy, fairly big, why can't they inbuild even if as it comes out, it directs itself up in a way to allow the timber to come out, because quite often it will grab the pipework or ducting that you've hooked up to it. So that's one thing. Right, I just had my friendly courier deliver me some goodies, and I was wondering what the heck it was. And what I did was I've got this the die holder. I've got a couple more, but not this size, because I needed this particular die, which is an 8 by 1.25. And you will say to me, well, David, isn't that a standard die for an 8mm? I'm going, yes, it is actually. Well done you. But this one is a little bit special in that, apparently, supposedly, it can thread stainless steel. Yeah, well, we'll see about that, won't we? But the idea being, and now I'm just looking for them. Where the heck did I put them? I just had them a few minutes ago. Right, come for a walk. One thing, I can actually walk around the workshop at the moment, which whereas probably an hour and a half ago, couldn't do that. Right, the theory is I've got some stainless pins which are exactly 8mm. Now this is a bigger version of them, so an exact 8mm pin, and I want to thread or attempt to thread them with an 8mm thread to go in these 8mm machine standoffs. I just call them the dowels, and my nickname for them in this workshop is a no wriggle pin, and it is machined pretty accurately to the 20mm dimension. Not all standoffs are going to be machined accurately. How did I was going to say something rude, but the pin fits the holes in the MFT top very neatly. These 8mm pins, this is actually a push rod for injection moulding, are pretty darn close to being 8mm, so very finely machined. If I can thread one of those sufficiently that it will go in one of these, that gives me one of these without having the need for the shrink insulation. that means I've got a slightly better interface between alignment pins, so that I can put these in 20mm holes, and the material that I may put on it may have not a 20mm hole but an 8mm hole in it, and I get good registration. And that's been a bit of a bugbear, because these are a bit of a cobbled together item, and it's a little bit annoying. And I just thought, well, seeing I've got these extra pins machined exactly at 8mm, why not see whether I can make the thread, so I can thread in. I was going to see a machinist friend of mine, he's pretty hard to get a hold of with work and family things, to see whether he could machine me up something with a 20mm and 8mm, dimension, for the very purpose I just explained. So apparently, you can see I'm a little bit, I'm hinting at the fact that I'm not surprised if it doesn't work. Apparently this is suitable for stainless. Yeah, I'm going to see about that, but I better have good lubricant on it. So yeah, rightio. So that's where we're going with that. That's what these. That was some of the things. The die holder and the die came for that. But then I've got these little puppies, and these are. Let's see if I can get them out. Hang on, you're going to get all twisted up as I'm moving around the camera. So apologies for that. Ooh. Hang on. No, I'll tell you what. I'll put this down, and you can look at something. And that something is, I've got no idea, because the camera decides where it wants to point at times. All right, how do I get these flaming things open? Ugh. There we go. Right, I have one of these. Look, where are you pointing? Now I'm pointing over here. Come on. One of these. They are the tungsten or carbide tipped hole saws, and I saw them pop up on the screen, and I thought, oh, I don't really have hang on, hang on. So I've got a 12mm there. Actually, I should have got some more, and I have got a 15.5, a 16, 19.5, and a 20. Now the thinking there is, if I can make tight holes with this, and it, like by the time I machine it, it oversizes it more than the 19.5, because this is for metal cutting, I'll be very, very close to the 20mm that I am aiming for. I find with the machine I've got, it's not quite heavy enough to do 20mm steel. But these are different. They are different. I don't know the quality. The packaging and everything else kind of encourages me. But the idea being is that if I drill a hole and it's oversized from the 19.5, I may be able to drill it out with a 20mm drill, or ream it out. Now, the reamers shouldn't have to, or won't, cut that much of a different, like the hole. It's not a drill, it's a reamer. But I've got these on the off chance, because I had some idea of making some cam type clamps out of 5mm steel or 10mm steel. And if I do that, I would like to have a 20mm hole that slips over the bench dogs. These no wriggle pins. And so that's what they are for. The 16mm and the 12mm are for a slightly different purpose, but not dissimilar, in that I've got some 16mm rod that it may be that I can use for the same sort of thing. The 12mm also for the same thing. I'm just trialing different ideas and different sizes, because there's no real need to go to 20mm in everything if it's not a bench dog type requirement. And what I didn't do, and I probably won't do, because I can get the drills are ordinary twist bit drills are okay, but 8mm for there, so I could have got an 8mm. Don't know. I'll have to look whether they're even available. So that's what they are for. It'll be very interesting to see how well they do actually function, but I'll have to get some cutting lubricant, because at the moment I don't have any. Rightio. Didn't need to know that, but you do now. Oh, it's a saying, isn't it? Right. All these ideas are all starting to come together. I need my workshop to be able to do any of them. So there's that. Now, we'll see, won't we? The quicker I can get it done, the quicker I can actually see whether this is a success or failure. Very interested in seeing how well that die actually can, what does he call it? Thread. Yeah, thread this. Being stainless steel, so. Okay, that's it. Wandering off, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye now.